Well, as we celebrate Women's Day, we look at a group of women who have initiated a project to empower young women in various fields of governance. Governance Ladies will be hosting a governance workshop aimed at empowering young ladies. The workshop will cover governance, its importance, the role of a company secretary, scholarship opportunities, and finding the right mentor. These ladies will also form part of their network in which they will be mentored on their respective career journeys. The young female graduates interested in becoming executive company secretaries have been elected from various NGOs. Now, to take this discussion further, we're now joined by Advocate Motsatsi, Group Company Secretary, as well as Legal Counsel of the Cyril Ramaphosa Foundation Trust. And we're also joined by Head of the Legal for BME at Omnia Holdings, that's Nelisile Thanjekwayo. Ladies, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Let's talk now about this initiative. Nelisile, let's start with you. Talk to us a little bit about the initiative and what your role will be, particularly as it comes to mentoring just some of these young ladies.
I think really for us, this initiative was more about just uplifting these ladies, really just looking into exactly what career options they've had. As you know, COSEC, especially governance, is not something that is broadly spoken about in terms of our career, but has become one of the most important careers, especially right now when we're looking at, a country where we've been now grey listed, where you look at governance really becoming something that has to come to the fore, especially also when you're considering the fact that, it really calls to proper leadership, proper ethics. We're about to go into another elective era and really just looking at the importance of this and bringing the ladies to join this. I'm quite excited because I'll be one of the mentors here, really chatting to the ladies, getting to know them and really trying to understand, to what is it that they actually want to do in terms of their careers and obviously just offering an interest in governance at this point in time.
Fantastic. Advocate Motsatsi, let's bring you in the conversation. Of course, the role of governance is so important. We've seen it time and time again as we start talking about just the scourge of corruption in the country and the just shortfall of, just having good ethical foundations in most corporations. What do you think for you is the most important parting message as you are mentoring these young ladies during this workshop and beyond?
Thank you for that. So we thought in commemoration of Women's Day, we should also focus on developing these young women to encourage them and guide them in being young ethical leaders and also ensuring that they know how to practice good corporate governance in companies. As you have alluded to the fact that, South Africa is suffering from a lot of chaos in terms of governance opportunities and corruption showing itself up there. So we are encouraging the women and training them and showing them, guiding them as to what they need to do or which career route to follow for us to build them to be our future leaders in corporate governance.
Nelisile, what are some of the challenges that you are starting to see, in this industry, particularly as it affects CEOs and also, of course, your C-suite, executives?
I think one of the biggest challenges is obviously now that ethics are actually being put in the center. The light is being shined on that. And I think what we're seeing a lot of is that, really CEOs really needing to consider the decisions that they make, really turning and leaning on their COSEC and their governance procedures and principles in order to understand and ensure that the decisions that they make are the decisions that are in line with those principles and, of course, are in line with the bigger, legislation that we obviously operate under. But I think what also becomes very important is just who they are. I think for the first time we're being questioned as leaders, just to understand exactly who are we and what is the kind of leadership that we want to emanate as we go forward in terms of, the organization itself, but more importantly, the impact that the organization has in the various communities in which it operates. And I think you're seeing a lot of that. And I think what we're trying to do here with the ladies from the various governance spheres is really just putting a light on that and understanding that, there's now it's time that's quite more important for us now to really think about, who are we bringing into our organizations, who are we grooming fundraising for our organizations, and doing a lot more than just simply giving out bursaries, really just getting involved, rolling up our sleeves, and of course, getting involved in the work in terms of what it is and the kind of humans and the kind of ethical leaders that we're trying to build for our nation going forward.
Martha, so this conference, it covers a lot of things, governance, its importance, the role of a company secretary, and I want us to pause a little bit there. Boards, particularly, at senior level, at SOE level, have really come under the scrutiny of, just what it is that they do, their roles. Are they actually crossing the T's and dotting the I's? And are they making ethical decisions? So what will you cover, in this workshop, in as far as company secretary is concerned, particularly its importance?
Yes. So, like I said, the young women we are hosting are freshly from varsity. So they would need to understand what is corporate governance first and foremost, and also having to explain to them what the roles of the company secretary is, and how to get themselves to that platform or profession. So we are teaching them or even encouraging them and ensuring that they know how to go about practicing governance in general, and ensuring that they follow those processes of governance within their upcoming professions in the governance space.
Are you teaching them about certain characteristics, particularly when it comes to just upholding a certain ethical standing, some form of credibility, and also as it relates to just accountability?
Yes, of course. Ethical practice is very, very important in this instance. So that is also in the discussions, and so ethical practice in terms of following the King codes, and also ensuring that they follow the Companies Act and all those prescripts of good corporate governance. So we are directing them as to where to look for and what to follow in terms of practicing good corporate governance.
All right, ladies, we've come
to... And I think just importantly as well, if I can just add, there is, the case studies we're looking at are really domestic focused. The challenges that are real, the challenges that we're seeing in our headlines, and really looking to those as examples of saying, really, where do we want to, take governance? What is the importance of governance? And really seeing the, real life examples. And I think that component, which again is led by Martha in terms of exactly going through those examples and taking the ladies through that, is quite an important one to also just talk to those key characteristics.
Very quickly, ladies, as we wrap our conversation and as we close, Nelisile, let's end off with you. Just your reasons behind, your career and why you chose this field. I mean, you are the head of legal for Omnia Group.
Yeah, I think it chose me more than anything else. I think it was more about just, being in a space where you make decisions that are really key. And I think decisions that speak to just more than the functioning of an organization. Really decisions that speak about, being, at the level of the community, understanding people, decisions that really bring your morals and I think your ethics to the forefront. I think that's why I've stayed in this career, and I think I've enjoyed this career, and why I'm hoping to bring along other young ladies to join us in this career, to really then see that, this is one of the aspects and one of the areas in corporate where you can really make the difference. And I think where you can influence calls that actually make a difference in our communities and within the spaces in which we operate.
Ladies, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it.